The Ancient Magus Bride is a series that I took interest without knowing people's opinion. The first volume cover left me intrigued, yet I don't really know why. It could be the artwork, or how it was addressed to be whimsical. It made me curious enough to pick up and read. I owe all the volumes that are currently released at this time, with an included bonus. With the advent of the anime debut, I am anticipated to see how this universe will translate. That all said, what is it about this series that compels the audience that will soon expand significantly? Let's take a closer look into this magical world of a bride. A 16-year-old Hattori Chise is a poor lost soul in an empty shell of her former self. She has no family to return to, no friends to seek for help, and no hope for ever receiving a gentle life. Auctioned out like an object, a magus named Answorth Elias buys her out and offers her a new beginning. Despite his appearance leans towards a demon than human, Chise may have found a new path to light that she has long seeking for. Will she find it? I have to come out and say it. First and foremost, this is not an action series. I appreciated the thrill of the anime trailer, but people shouldn't think this is an explosive action genre. It is a slice of life series that explores the entity of his universe, the magical beings like fairies, the alchemy used for experiments, and the exploration of characters. It's similar to another series, Natsume, Book of Friends. Even the concept, both protagonists can see mythical creatures, but no one else can, and they are miserable by it. It's quite similar, only this one is shonen. I can't help but think that because of this series is adapted by Wit Studio, some would assume that it is action heavy. Going by my research, the studio has worked on plenty of action genre recently with very few other different genre projects. Seraph of the End, Carbonerer of the Iron Fortress, and the most notable one, Attack on Titan. I was surprised that they would be the one to adapt this, so I am hoping people can understand the actual nature of the series, as they should. There are plenty of majestic materials to explore in a well-developed lore. It covers the small yet significant aspect because it wants to exploit that life is precious with cherished memories. Even in the darkest time, the light will glow. Step by step, the transformation becomes apparent and it is rewarding. It takes its time to give you a reason to care, even for a simple task that should be easily dealt with, yet challenging for the fallen one. The more it progresses, the more you start to wish more happiness along the way. There is a main plot behind it as well, antagonists and all, but it will arrive when it is ready to exploit. It is slice of life first, plot later, and it's not a bad thing. Once you begin to understand its world, it will take you for a deeper journey. It's appealing with its sheer nature. It may take time to develop as it is carefully explains the lore detail by detail, but you eventually will start feeling right at home. Chise is the protagonist, so naturally the focus of her is to regain humanity. She starts off looking like a lifeless doll, but regains life as many depths explored. It doesn't take long for her to appear differently, which is good, since I could imagine people wouldn't like a lifeless or robotic character for a protagonist. It's not that she will transform immediately, it portrays that one piece of humanity can make a massive difference than nothing at all. She's a character that has my full attention, because the narrative drags us to feel like we are learning again. How to be gentle, how to help others, how to understand the environment, how to live again. She doesn't stay mute or broken for long, so the more she develops, the more you begin to connect. You understand her lessons, hardships, and cold reality the more she begins to feel human again. She will start off clinging to Elias, but understandably so. It's not because of romantic love, at least not yet maybe. It's the feeling of opportunity to relive again under his offering. She grows more at home and becomes more independent to her own decisions and actions. It only made me feel proud, but worried. She is a gentle character that slowly learns to cherish life and feel the change that she long waited for. Elias is a mysterious creature. While there are plenty of missing holes to fill in with his background and agenda to rescue Chise, let alone marry her in the future, he is pretty amusing. He can look menacing by design, but charming and comical when called for one. He is best described as a man-child, or a child in a man-sized demon body. He can be thoughtful and wise in many cases, but his curiosity is seen like a child. What elevates the chemistry between him and her is the fascination of understanding their worlds. Chise is regaining life within her, as well as adapted to the supernatural environment with magical entity, as Elias is teaching her the basics and explore the depth of humanity. Essentially, they develop student-teacher relationship as both play both roles, creating a pleasant bond. Elias can be intimidating, but it makes you wish that he could handle himself better. He's charming and smart, but then he has flaws that wish to be erased. There are other characters that add more to its environment. It may not have everyone involved with the main plot, but for a slice of life, it can bring in the heartwarming foundation. Like Silky, the housekeeper, for example. There is a chapter that is nearly completely mute, but it has a good amount of meaningful display that set the tone of depression, but ends on a tender note. That alone had me surprisingly touched by her character. There are many more to explore, including the one that will only show up once in a while, and many, if not all, are kind-hearted, excluding the antagonist, at least from what I have read so far. Even there are characters that should be evil or cruel, but there's more to them than their initial impression. It could be from humans, fairies, or even demons. As slice of life goes, it nails the core of his nature. Despite the writing is slice of life style, it does contain action with the use of magic elements and science such as alchemy. The series does a swell job to explain each of his lore functionality. There will be items that put a special cast, there will be set of rules of tributes and limitations, and there will be many different ways for whimsical use. Because Chise is learning magic for the first time, we start from the basic and progress further to the more advanced stage at a steady pace. Elias is the teacher, so we are following the lessons along with her. It leaves us enough time to digest the functionality and begin to appreciate its lore. While there are potential for other type of magic, so far it has been done in a compelling way. Even a simple magic used, such as link to mind and memory, can be demonstrated in a meaningful connection. There is alchemy used as well, though it's done by side characters, so it's not highly focused. When it does explore, it is interesting to say the least. I have once heard that the world building and the use of magic can be described as Harry Potter-esque. In my opinion, it does seem that way regardless of obvious differences. There may be no school as of this time, but it certainly has the learning process. That all said, the use of magic in the action scenery is done in a slow and steady process for the most part, meaning it won't be as frenzied as battle shonen series. As mentioned before, the trailer portrayed it as intense and fast paced. While it can be intense, it is not its main objective to be explosive. You can't expect the action to be on the caliber of Full Metal Alchemist, Fairy Tail, or Black Clover. It plays more on the emotional and tense aspect, which could be a breaking point of that character's action. Is nothing wrong with the said series, and its action pace is not this series' protocol. My favorite perk is how much of an emotional impact it has towards the character, whether it is from Chise, Elias, or anyone in general. By the time the main plot begins, you already gain enough senses of who they are and what they are capable of. It has that great sense of accomplishment of what they have learned and at what price they paid. The saddest time can bring in the rewarding feeling, because not only you learn the morality, but the character grows with you. The cooperation of his world with magic and alchemy and real life aspects are profound. We can learn a deep, meaningful lesson as well as escaping reality to his world. Despite the title with Bride in it, the romance isn't really focused. It is taking its time to develop the chemistry, and perhaps one day it will. It is appealing to explore further with its expendable magical elements. The series is not too young, but it has plenty of room to dive deeper. The recent development shows new promises, so you can bet that we are only getting started. It's reasonable to count on the artwork to be visually impressive to exploit its delighting world. Fortunately, Yamazaki does a terrific job. The environment can be delightful on one hand, then the next horrifying. Since it's magical, it's expected to see many mythical creatures. Each of them stands out differently and has his own identity to separate from other creatures. It opens for plenty of imagination to add in for the future. The detail can be really pretty to look at, including the living beings. Dragon design can never look old. It has that larger than life feeling that passes through you. The atmosphere tone is easily noted with its light and dark nature. It's not afraid to go really dark on life, including drug use and serial killer. The action is steady, so it is easy to pick up on what's happening. The world is welcoming to any who wishes to learn more. In the volume, it has descriptive interior area to make you feel right at home. The real perk is the sublime design of the character's expression. Chise is easy to notice since her character begins as a loner. Each time you see something new from her reaction, you grasp the warm feeling just by seeing it. These characters can be expressive and bring a tender feel. Even a character like Elias, who has no real expression, but the body language and monologue can bring just about the same meaningful length as expressions. There are other moments that will send you to feel something strong, which is the beauty of a good writing slice of life. It could make you teary, but much like Hardship Path, the end can bring you happiness. As of now, the Ancient Magus Bride has been a really great series. From what I have read so far, it has many new promises to explore new magical elements and new challenges. Beyond that, it is not easy to say that the series will grow stronger or weaker, but if it keeps up the writing quality, it can be a very charming series in the end. I recommend it. That is if you are fine with the slice of life style. Believe me, you will be glad with its focus before entering the main plot. I cannot wait for the anime debut. I'm happy to see how far it has come and begin to bloom to a wonderful work. The world is vast, but it's worth entering for its whimsical charm.